A. Berlin says, I want to understand the travel experience. So what are you going to investigate? Hires your team to provide advice on improving the travel experience with the airline. And you have to give the airline one slide on what you're going to investigate. What would you all do, Mark?
We discussed that we on that slide would have like the customer journey.
Yep.
And then one of or several persons of our team would put themselves in the customer's shoes and we'll go through the customer journey.
That's a great point.
And then based on these insights, we're going to conduct some specific interviews where.
Exactly. So one approach in an interview is for people to go through a journey. And so getting into the journey is often a very good idea. And the more you can put, again, it may depend on the type of customer you're interviewing. The more you can put them into a journey mindset, you're probably better off. You know, they're thinking about the whole thing, they're thinking holistically. It also gives you a lot more talking points in the probing and so on. It gives you, and the other thing that I tend to do and is look at what I control and what I don't control. Somebody has a need, then there's search, okay? There's a need, then there's search, then they narrow down some options, meaning they get rid of, like, you know, instead of 15 we look at 4 or whatever, you know. Then they evaluate, and then finally they choose. So this is what the research shows. Okay? This is all your features, your functional benefits. Features, functional benefits. So I'm going to call it FFB. Features, your functional benefits. These are all the rational things that appear on a RFP and appear on your spec sheets, right? We have this type of a product, so many modules, we have such a team, whatever. But notice one thing. By the way, this is importance. How important are these things at different stages of a customer's buying process? So the higher up, the more important it is. So these are extraordinarily important throughout the buying process. But something amazing happens. When the customer has to make a decision, the importance of this goes down. Okay? This is price. Can you all see the blue one? You can, or? Here's orange. This is price. Price is important early, then it goes down. When it comes to making a choice, its importance goes up. Early, why important? Can I afford to work with SAP and Oracle, given that they're generally expensive? Would this fit into my budget? Or they're too much, or whatever, you know? So important early, then it goes down. They don't talk about price. You say, hey, don't worry, you're qualified. You meet our basic criteria. We have the budget, so don't worry about it. They don't want to talk about price. But when it comes to making a decision, this becomes important. There's something no customer talks about, or very few talk anything about. This is risk trust. They don't talk about it. It does not appear on the RFP. It doesn't appear on your spec sheet. You see what I'm getting at? But when it comes to making a decision, boom, it becomes the most important thing. So why does this go down and this go up? Why does this go down in importance?
Just a question. What I don't understand, if the risk and trust is low, you will not get the RFP, right?
Yes. So this, in the narrow down options or initial options, they'll knock you out at that stage. Exactly. And when it is low, meaning nobody talks about it, it doesn't appear on the RFP. This is really gets to the point of people buy from the heart and justify by facts. So what happens here with this FP thing is, now I'm down to my final 2 or 3. Each one is good in one way or the other way. So I'm saying I can go with either this or that. Yes, each one has some disadvantages. Oracle does something well, SAP does something well. It can be a close call because I've knocked down the other 4 or whatever. In some cases, maybe only 2. So that's why this goes down in importance at the end. This goes up. Who do I feel comfortable working with? Who do I feel comfortable? So this is my point is, if you look at the journey, this will not appear unless you're finding out who meets them, how much time they spend, what are competitors doing, when do they get involved, are we getting involved at the right stages. So it depends on your objectives. But if you ever think I'm going to learn from the RFP, you're truly mistaken. It all happens before the RFP. So let's look at a second thing. Oh, by the way, this is getting at customer experience throughout the journey. Customer experience is nothing but their emotional, subjective response to the end-to-end experience. So if you are interested in learning truly about customer experience, then you want to look at it from a journey standpoint. And there are 2 building blocks. There are 2 big building blocks as customers think about it. One is emotions, and the second is effort. These 2 influence customers' assessment of their experience with the company. So, how do I feel and how hard is it to work with you? Okay? How hard? And that's where again the journey thing. How easy is it to find information on your website, for example? How easy is it to do a transaction and blah, 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 blah. So it's effort, by the way, is turning out to be the biggest predictor of customer loyalty. Effort is turning out to be one of the biggest predictor of customer loyalty. Companies that reduce effort for customers tend to have higher spending customers and more loyal customers. Think about it, right? If you think about it, all the companies that are highly valued today have all simplified our lives and reduced effort. Uber, Netflix, Apple, Google, they're all in the effort reduction business. Amazon, one click. So the value is being created today in effort reduction. Okay? So as you think about your journey, etc., think about effort reduction. Where in the journey is it painful for the customer? I want you to think of having an inquiry mindset. What happens very often is we tend to have, when we do interviews, a mindset of what can we do to improve. Because you are saying, I am here to learn about their needs, I want to know what difficulties they are having. So generally our own mindset is around improvements. What can we do better, what difficulties are they facing, etc. So I want to show you 2-3 videos of Citizen M, because I think there is huge lessons in this video as you do your interviews. Okay? So I am going to show you a couple of videos of Citizen M.
The home approach was to do away with the superfluous trimmings of other five-star hotels and provide only and exactly what the customer needs. A very Apple approach to the way of doing things.
Any key lessons from this particular video?
Sounds like what it has been done for the Cirque du Soleil. You enhance something, you remove others,
Exactly.
and you implement other things that you believe the customer can appreciate.
That's exactly the reason why I'm showing this video, is think as much as what we can eliminate and remove.
So which means you're saying good enough.
Some things can be good enough, but some things you're far better. So you're trying to change the value curve. Part of the inquiry is also to find out, are there things, because a lot of times we tend to fall into the trap of we got to do more, we got to do better, we got to add things. That's how you beat the competition. And differentiation comes by adding things. I think what the Citizen M concept is showing is no. You can actually differentiate by giving a great price and removing the things that are not so useful. So this is satisfaction. Okay. This is the benefit that you provide or the feature that you provide, exceeds the performance or whatever. You are performing as per the standard or expectation. Okay. Here it is does not meet the performance expectations. So I'm going to draw 3 lines. The first line looks like this. The second line looks like this, and the third line looks like this. So this is very important when it comes to categorizing the responses. So now I'm getting into what can you do with the data. So I'm trying to give you a way to take the data and interpret it and make it easy. So here's the key thing. These are must-haves. The must-haves, if you notice here, when you have it, it does not increase satisfaction. If you don't have it, customer is very unhappy. These, if you don't meet some of their basic criteria, you're out. Pre-qualification stage, you're done. The must-haves are what we call as table stakes. You improve on it, you get nothing. So let me give you a very simple example. Christos, did you fly here to Lausanne?
Yes.
What did you take? What airline?
Star Alliance.
Star Alliance. Okay. What were your criteria you looked at?
Mileage bonus.
Mileage. He's honest guy. Yeah. So let me ask you a question. How many of you considered safety? So let's say I ask you to allocate 100 points. And I've got safety, miles, service, comfort, etc. How many points do you think people would give to safety?
0.
Some may give 0. It's a must-have, right? So if you ask people though, and they didn't know what product or so on for many things, this we can get often 90. Safety is the most important thing. If you don't have safety, I will not fly you, right? So, but it does not mean you will differentiate on safety. A must-have, like you said, should genuinely be given 0 points. But lot of times, if we don't identify the must-haves and take them out of the equation, you can falsely believe that those are sources of differentiation. Because must-haves are the price you need to pay to be in the game. but must-haves will not help you differentiate. So, these are must-haves, should have. Think of the second line as the blue line on there as the should have. The more you have it, the happier is the customer. And the blue line or the green line on that, let's just stick to that one out there. What's the green line? Could have. Exactly. The green line is a could have. If it is not there, customer is not unhappy. If it is there, they're supremely happy. And the key thing to remember is today's, I'm like moving quickly away, like, you know. Today's delighters could be tomorrow's must-haves. Okay? I mean, think about an automobile, right? A GPS system is, you just expect it. All those things you just expect today. Which is why this whole thing is dynamic, right? Value is a dynamic concept. You can look at the Kenner model and say, I can choose to be here or here. I know that as it increases, there's more satisfaction, but no. I decide I'm going to be here and give a better price point. So you don't always have to be at the higher end. This is the 5-star versus Citizen M. The 5-star hotel charges you more, but gives you more stuff which they believe is not adding value. In fact, they would say 5-star hotels are not here. They're saying a lot of 5-star hotels, I mean, if you think about it from a value standpoint, if you look at price and if you look at value, what Citizen M is saying is, this is the traditional way of thinking. 1-star, 3-star, 5-star. I charge you more, I give you more, kind of a thing. Or instead of value, call it performance, whatever it might be. Which is, you get a better bed, you have a nice restaurant, you get 8 pillows, you can choose where you want to play. But the Citizen M thing is, I'm going to be here. I'm going to be not necessarily here, but I'm going to be here. I'm going to give you a 3.5-star price, but I'm going to give you as much value as a 5-star by removing many of the superfluous things. So your goal often is to go off the diagonal. How do I go off the diagonal? And that's a very key thing. How do I go off the diagonal? That was what Citizen M was doing. And the point I'm trying to make is, if you try to beat the established players on their own game, 90% of the time you will lose.